Yellowjackets episode 7, No Compass. So I'm going to jump right into this with my prediction because it's, I've been ruminating on it for a minute and I'm like 100% positive, which of course is going to make me look like an asshole if I'm wrong, but whatever, I don't care. So, the setup here.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it all perfectly fits in and I don't see... could I be wrong? Sure, of course. But who is the person who just came and got all the money from them and ran off with the glitter trail behind them? That would be Shauna's husband, Jeff. Right? So, okay, this is how it's going to go down because we have a lot of setup here. First, starting with the bed sheets. All right, so... we have it set up in this episode that this person has glitter on them. Of course, this is going to come back into play. Now, Adam is being set up here as the suspicious one. This is the one everyone's keeping their eye on. Oh, Adam, I don't trust Adam. Something's up with Adam, right? But not enough people are keeping a close enough eye on the husband here. So, she's going to find glitter on the bed sheets when she goes to wash them in the next episode, which of course is going to say, oh, in her mind, she can be like, oh, fuck Adam. Because, her husband just went to the shower, right? Sure. Why did he want to take a shower?
Right.
Because he's got glitter on his ass, right? Anyways, so she specifically, because Adam's in the closet, put your shirt on the bed, right? So... this is specifically for him to transfer glitter from his shirt onto the bed, which is going to make it look like it's Adam. It's going to make everyone think it's Adam. They're like, oh my God, it's Adam. It ain't Adam. Because there's a lot of different things going on here. Number one, Jeff is out all night. Okay, he's working inventory or whatever. Bullshit. He was out doing a money drop, right? Or getting the money drop, right? In addition to that, he's got his little secret love affair. Bullshit. What's going on here, I don't think that this has anything to do with what's going on in the woods or anything. I think Jeff is broke. I think he wants to leave his wife and he is going to take this money because I think the person he's meeting with in the hotel is somebody he wants to sell his business to. I think his business is failing. Shauna goes to Jackie's parents' house for dinner, which she does all the time, and they try to offer them money. She turns it down flat, and he basically burns all bridges with them after he talks shit to them, being like, hey, this is my fucking wife, and, your daughter wasn't perfect either, blah, blah, blah. I was cheating on her, this and that. So he's cut that tie. That's gone. So I think that he's in financial ruin, and, he's trying to figure out how to get out of it the best he can. He probably knows about the affair with Adam or something, or knows something's up. But I think that he blackmailed her and her friends out of this money. He's going to take the money. He's going to sell the business, and he's just going to fucking try to leave. Right? Like, I'm pretty much sure everything lines up perfectly here to me.
It does. And I think that that's most likely the right, answer. And I agree with you. But I could also see it going the other way.
Different reason.
For a different reason? Well, no, I could see that she becomes suspicious of her husband because she already thinks that he's cheating on her. So I think that she could find the glitter on the bed and make the connection of, oh, shit, it's my husband. But it actually ends up being Adam still. Although we don't have all of the motivations that we have with her husband as far as the money and everything, which is why I think it's more than likely it is her husband. But I do think that there's a possibility it could still end up being Adam. Because she has,
Sure. Of course it could be wrong.
Sure, yeah.
Could be anybody.
It could, but it's most likely going to be one of them just because she's, interacting with both of them the night of the money drop. And the glitter thing definitely has to come back. And the only other person that we see interact with especially another man that night is Natalie. But it doesn't seem likely that, Kevin would be in on the money drop. He seems very pissed off that she took his gun and everything. But I do still think, even if, you know, it ends up being her husband as the guy that's trying to get money from them, I am still suspicious of Adam. I don't think that you know, he's completely in the clear yet.
I think he's on the level.
You do?
I do.
100%?
Not 100%, but I'm leaning much more towards that he's on the level and that he's a red herring to take suspicion off of Jeff. And I think that Adam will end up getting killed in some way, shape, or form.
I also, what is Travis's younger brother's name? Because I still sort of think that Adam might be his younger brother. Mm-hmm. Because there's like talk about Travis changing his name, and
sure,
you know, Adam I think is probably pretty close to that age. And
we'll
there was like a comment about him, you know, he was going through Shauna's things in the past, looking for the hunting knife for an art project, and then when Shauna confronts him, she's like, "You think you're an artist," and all this stuff. So I sort of felt like there might have been a connection there where, you know, like when they were in the woods, obviously he feels something towards her. But I don't know. But ultimately, I agree with you. I think that her husband is very suspicious and most likely the one that's trying to get the money from them.
Sure, but I just think, like, because, okay, number one, they're trying to lead us to believe that he's having an affair, right? Like, it's all signs are pointing to that he's having an affair. Mm-hmm. He's not. At least I don't think so. And then the whole, like, lay your clothes on the bed, there's way more suspicion. That's too subtle, right? She's not going to be like, "Oh, wait, he put his shirt on the bed." No. That's put in there as this real quick little thing that they can draw back to when she thinks back, like, "Oh, shit, wait." You know, when they do, like, the Saw flashback kind of shit. And they're like, "Oh, no, wait. My husband put his shirt on the bed. Like, he also touched the bed that day. And then he jumped in the shower." Like, she's going to think Adam immediately. Anyways, I could be wrong. They could be all totally wrong. I am pretty much positive. I'm like 99.9. In fact, I'm like 100. I'm 100% positive this is the way it's going to go down. We shall see. We shall see. We don't watch Next Dawns, by the way. So if there is something in the fucking trailer for it, just shut up. Stop watching the Next Dawn stuff. We don't watch it, and you shouldn't either. Just enjoy the mystery, or do whatever the fuck you want. Just leave it out of my comment section, because I get enough of this, like, well, I should stop reading immediately.
When they say that they started watching the Next Dawn. Yeah.
And for anyone who's going to comment on my painted nails,
I did that.
Haley was very adamant on doing it. And she did
I did an okay
job. I have terrible fingernails to paint.
No. I think it was more my skill that messed them up, but
I don't know. I've been biting my nails for a long time. Okay. You be quiet, kitty, and we're going to start from the beginning here of the episode. But that is my prediction. I don't even think it's that bold.
I don't either.
I think if you're paying attention, this is all just there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it lines up really well. But I think that Shauna, you know, could be she's already suspicious of her husband, and I think that she's pretty shrewd in general, which is why I think that she could, you know, make a connection that it's her husband before she thinks about Adam. But I don't know, because they're both in positions where, like, she doesn't know Adam as well, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate more than anything, because I ultimately do agree with you, but I don't know. I like keeping the possibility open that it could be Adam.
I'm 100%. I'm 100%. I'm staying it right now. We can come back here in an episode or two, and you can tell me how stupid I am. But I'm telling you, it's the only thing that makes sense right now. It's too obviously not obvious. Right? Like, everything is just, they're misdirecting everything around it too perfectly. Yeah. Which could be the writers just being, you know, knowing that people like me are going to be like, "I figured it out," which would be cool.
Well, yeah, that's like, I guess what I'm hopeful for, because I like, you know, writers that are able to sort of think about the audience that would
3 steps ahead,
analyzing
they're 4 steps ahead.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's, you know, that's what you want, right? Like, you want to be constantly in this, you know, not that things don't make sense, but just like in a loop of like the mystery's still there, and like you're not right all the time, and but I think most people watching it, like, if they're not thinking about it analytically, would be, you know, easily caught with, like, "Oh, Absolutely. It's Adam." Like, so, yeah.
And for the record, definitely, if I'm wrong about this, fine. I'm not worried about that at all. But if I am wrong about it, it needs to make sense, right?
Of course.
This is one of the things with I Know What You Did Last Summer that pissed me off so much, is like, we had really good theories about things that made sense, and then in the end, the thing that they went with made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not how the show went. That's not how... I feel like fucking Annie Wilkes in Misery when she's talking about that Rocket Man or whatever the hell that... What was the show called? Was it Rocket Man?
No, I don't remember the name of the show, but she was talking about the end, like how it doesn't make sense.
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car.
Yeah, exactly.
No, is it Rocket-a-doodie? It's not Rocket Man. I think it's just because we just watched the Elton John movie Rocket Man.
That's us.
Something like that.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Or Annie Wilkes, yeah.
That's how it was. It's just like, nope. Not gonna say what it was in case you watch it, but no, the killer that it was not the killer. They wrote that in last minute bullshit. Anyways, all right. So this episode starts. We got Thaisa. She is still currently in the position she was at the very last moment of the last episode in the tree, with dirt in her teeth and a bite on her hand.
Yeah.
I haven't put much thought into this one.
Considering the ending,
I was so focused on the Jeff thing.
Well, yeah, and then also the ending is pretty wild, I feel like, for this episode. But considering that, we are like, I think, I'm going to connect it to this, but I think that she is sleepwalking at the end, and I think that she's acting out her dream. I don't think
we'll get there.
But my point with that was going to be that this opening is that I think that the bite mark is going to come into play where she thought that she was like having a dream and she's actually hurting somebody in real life, one of her loved ones, potentially her wife or her son, and the bite is from them. That's what I think.
Well, the bite's big. I can tell you that. The bite's
an
adult mouth.
So
we have not seen her wife. She left in the night.
Yes.
Right? We will see her return home, maybe returning home to the police.
Yeah.
You know, like the cops fucking coming. But she'd go in the house. Now her wife could be in the room.
Right. She just goes
just hiding. You know, called the police and she left before they got there. Potentially. I could see maybe that happening.
Or she's dead.
She's dead, yeah. Or, you know, she attacked someone else in the neighborhood or something. Right? She like went out. Or she bit herself. Mm-hmm. You know, that's also possible. Mm-hmm. Lots of possibilities on that. The bite mark, I have no clue. I'm gonna go with you and say somebody bit her, and if so, who, and what are they now doing about it? Because the bite mark does not look like Sammy's. It's too big, but they could. And that's just the thing with any of these things. You always got to take certain bits of evidence with a grain of salt. Like when you see somebody's face under a ski mask or something, they might just hire some random asshole to be under that mask.
Sure. So
then you're looking at it and you're like, we tried to pause the ski mask guy as he drove by to be like, wait, whose eyes are those and this and that. Well, now, I had called something about that in Dexter, and it was the actor.
Right.
Because I was like, no, that's that person's eyes.
But that's, yeah, it's weird because, like, with this show, though, like, those eyes look like Adam. They look like
for
they
the
have,
second
like,
we saw it.
For the second
we did
that
not
it's
get
there,
to pause it.
It looks like dark eyebrows and dark eyes, and her husband has blonde eyes. Blue eyes, right? Doesn't he? He's got blue eyes because he's like blonde, fair skin, blue eyes.
That could really fuck up my prediction.
But
if
like
that's
you
accurate,
said, though,
if that's accurate.
I
now,
don't know.
if it is, and they fucking try to say it's Jeff, you can be like, "Yo, the guy in the car had fucking brown eyes, and this guy has blue. What the fuck?"
It was nighttime too. That's the thing. Like,
sure,
so I don't really feel like there's a good judge of it. But I mean, when I saw it, when we paused it, like I definitely thought he looked more like Adam.
We did not pause it on the face. We never got it paused on the face.
We got it like because it goes by so fast. We got it like right before we saw his face for a minute, didn't we?
We saw it drive by, but we never caught it in a pause.
Yeah.
But whatever, it doesn't matter. No, I'm 99.9. If his eyes are blue. I don't know. But it is night. And with night, it's really hard to tell. But it was fairly well lit when he was driving by, so I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't want to be wrong now. Fuck. Now I'm like, I put it all on the line.
No, I mean...
No, what I'm saying makes perfect sense.
It does. It definitely does. It makes complete sense, but that's like maybe the expectations would be subverted because it makes so much sense.
Somebody pointed out to me in the last episode that when Taissa and Van are bathing together, that she asks her about her fingernails having dirt under them. And this, of course, means that she was out there eating dirt, which we figure now, obviously, from this episode, she is. I should have caught that, but I just thought she was like, hey, you're trying to finger me with dirty fingernails? Like, don't do that. Gotta clean them shits out before you want to put them inside of me. So, I was just thinking dirty thoughts and completely distracted.
And not actual, like, dirt.
Yeah, dirt.
Like, oh.
I should have had dirt thoughts, not dirty thoughts. Or different kinds of dirty thoughts, I suppose. Anyway, all right. So, Natalie asks Travis to stay with her because Taissa is planning this rescue mission. She takes a few people along with her, one of them being Misty, who is in kind of a jealous rage, so to speak, because she sees Taissa talking to Coach. Like, anybody who talks to him, it's like, oh, they gots to go, I guess.
I don't know if her plan is to, like, hurt Taissa. I think it's... I do think it's jealousy, but I think it's maybe like this plan could work and Taissa would be our savior sort of a thing. And Misty wants that role. Like she
doesn't want them to leave the woods.
No, so but I think the idea is like if she went with them, this is just what I'm assuming is going through her head, that the coach would be more appreciative of her and, you know, like that kind of acknowledgement. Yeah. Because she runs out there very last minute, you know. She obviously, it's only when she sees the coach and Taissa talking that she makes that decision. Because she thinks that, Coach thinks that, like, Taissa is awesome for going to try to rescue them. She's being a leader and, like, Yeah, I took it more in the moment as, like, you know, she's going to try to fuck up their plans. She's going to go out there to stop them. Now, it doesn't seem like she needs to, but we may never see what her plan even was. Sure. But I think what you said makes sense. She sees that she's getting some kind of recognition, even though the conversation looks totally, like, uninteresting. Yeah, just a normal kind of conversation. But he's talking to her. How dare he? How dare he? Lottie gives Van a bone that kind of acts like a brass knuckle knife. Yeah. A little weapon. Which is like, you got to keep on you. That does fuck all for her, I guess. Well, she doesn't keep it on her, though. Right. It gets removed because Taissa has it. Oh, that's true. So you should, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. She should have had it to defend herself against the wolves. But Taissa steals it from her. Yeah. And then leaves them to the wolves. Or does she? So that's, you know, we're going to... we might as well just talk about it now. So, we didn't rewind the scene, but... So, the way that it plays out, it's either that Taissa's in some kind of, like, dreamlike state where she's seeing a wolf in her dream attacking Van. So she takes an axe to the wolf, but she's actually axing Van. Or she took the bone from her so she can't defend herself. She comes to save her, and by the time she axes the wolf, Van's face is ripped up. I don't know which happened. Cause I was looking for the wolf when it happened, and I looked over at Kayla and like, was this a dream or is this not a dream? Did she attack Van or did she attack a wolf? I don't see a fucking wolf. But maybe the wolf is just somewhere off frame, and she's away from them, which would line up with how it played off in her dream. Yeah. Right? Like, why wouldn't she be attacking her sleeping all around in a circle? Right. So that gives more credibility to that what was actually happened. But then Misty and the others come around the corner, not holding torches,
totally like just kind of like what happened with having just come out of a wolf fight with torches. You would think they'd still be holding those torches.
Well,
You'd think they'd still be frantic and like, holy shit, what the fuck happened or anything.
Yeah, and where would those wolves have gone? I mean, they
fought them off. I don't know.
I definitely, having not rewatched the scene, I thought that was a dream sequence. I think that.
But why is Van so far away?
Well, I mean, Thaisa up in a tree again.
Sure, but why is Van so far away?
Thaisa was supposed to be like the first watch, right? What if Van wakes up, you know, and Thaisa's missing? Yeah, and she goes to look for her, and she's up in the tree. And then she, jumps down and starts axing her, and that's what wakes everybody else up. The reason also I think it's a dream is because of the lighting changes. Although I know she fires a flare at the wolf, there's like this red light that's happening when she's like hacking, and then it dims down, and it just like the way that it kind of cuts makes me think that she's like that. When it's red and when all that's going on, there's like the fire, obviously the glow from the torches and everything, it's all warm, and then it changes to like a cooler light, and I feel like that's when she wakes up. Her face is definitely messed up, and it could be mauled for sure. I guess it's also possible that there wasn't even a wolf there, but maybe some other like creature or something, that she's like seeing as a wolf and is attacking. But I don't think the wolves are truly there, even though I know they hear them earlier on. But that's also what makes me think that it's likely to be a dream, right? Because they're already in this heightened state. But also, like Thaisa's wearing that bone necklace, the totem that Vans was supposed to have.
But the bone thing is definitely one of the things that makes it think it's not a dream, because Lottie told her to take it with her to protect herself from threats like the wolves. And if she would have had it on her, she would have been able to defend herself from the wolves, because she sure as fuck had no ability to defend herself from Thaisa. Now, that all being said, I am leaning more, because of how you explained it, I am leaning more towards that it is a dream. I think that's what makes the most sense, and I do think it's very possible that in the next episode, we actually see what really transpired before she comes up out of it and sees it. Maybe, Van's standing there, and she's like, Ty, what's going on? Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then she comes at her, and then she like goes to like get her necklace, and she's like, what? And then she looks on her neck and sees that she was going to defend herself against Thaisa, and then Thaisa takes a fucking axe to her face.
Yeah.
That would make it make sense. I think that we need to see that actually take place, or I don't know.
Well, and I think that Lottie, I don't know that she's giving her that bone as like a physical weapon. I definitely
protection?
like as a kind of spiritual protection type of thing.
But it's so specific.
I know it's and it's sharp
weapon.
and everything. I can see it being used as a weapon. But I don't know. I guess it's just like whenever she gave it to her, and the way Lottie has been, with everything, I thought of it more as like some type of like spiritual, metaphysical protection. And
yeah, maybe.
I think that she could have easily seen, she has this dream before they leave about the river of blood, and I think there was like something with smoke as well. Anyway, but she could have seen Thaisa attacking them, or something else attacking them other than wolves. But I agree. I think that we'll probably get a different perspective of what happens, even if it's just from the other people that are with them, the other girls.
I would assume it'd probably start the episode, right? And then I think it'll, jump over to Shauna doing her laundry. That'd probably be the first two scenes of the episode. But, yeah, I'm going to go with is a dream, and we see it from this perspective in the next episode. Let us know what you guys think. Did you have any struggles with that, or were you 100% like, no, that was obviously a dream, what are these guys talking about? Or, no, that was obviously a wolf, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Well, it looked very unclear to us.
Yeah, it's definitely shot in a very ambiguous way, intentionally. So.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So the truth is out now. Jackie is in the know about what Shauna's been up to after Shauna lied to her, then half lied to her.
Yeah.
And now she's finding out the whole truth and nothing but the truth because Shauna is dumb enough to keep a diary or a journal hidden. Now, somebody pointed out something to me. Now, in the last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago now, I think it was just the last episode, when they turned down the money from Jackie's parents. I have to assume that was the last episode. I feel like I would have mentioned this by now. It doesn't really matter. Either way, when they go through the diary when Shauna goes through the diary that she finds in Jackie's room, there are things in there that don't add up with the timeline. Now, this could be seen as a fuck up in the show, but the show seems to be very deliberate, and the people writing it seem to know their 90s lore, like pop and whatnot. I was going to say
90s lore?
I
like that, though.
What the fuck that was.
90s lore?
Yeah, their 90s lore.
I love that.
Their 90s pop culture references and whatnot. And in that book, one thing I should have caught, because where most of the discrepancies come from is on a page where they flip past it really fucking fast. And it's like celebrities that I want to be like, or characters I like, or whatever the fuck it is. But it's like a really quick page. The first page that we see that we actually do look upon, which was like the favorite movies or movies I want to see or whatever it was, one of them was Scream. And I should have picked up on that because I know Scream came out in December of 96. And this came, and they crashed before that. But even if they somehow, this is in late December or something, and Scream is possible to be in there. Regardless, there are things in the later half, and there's screenshots of it on Reddit or, Google it, whatever, where there's, a character on there and it straight up says American Beauty. And American Beauty didn't come out for years after that. Right? So that doesn't work. And there's a couple things on there where it's 97, 99. It's like, whoa, what is this? So what to make of that, I don't really know. The only thing I can say, the only thing that really makes any sense to me is one of two things. Either somehow Jackie's been writing in that past, like she survived this, but then didn't survive much past getting home. I don't know why she'd be just journaling like some schoolgirl when she got home from this horrible ordeal.
Yeah.
But maybe she just couldn't leave the house and then ended up killing herself. Who knows? I don't know. But also, Shauna's been came home and was staying with her parents after she got back and was kind of taking on their persona, or continuing on Jackie's diary with her own stuff and keeping her memory alive through it. I don't know. It could just be a fuck up. It could just be, but I doubt it. I mean, why put something in there from a time period that comes after the events? That just seems like such a bad fuck up to me.
Yeah.
To go to that length.
I don't know whether or not we have confirmation that Jackie died for sure when they were, lost. I don't think her parents specifically mentioned that. It's just kind of.
You think Van's dead? Speaking of which,
yeah. If she's not dead, I think she's going to die. They don't have any kind of the medical equipment. I'm guessing they maybe brought a couple of things with them, but most of it will probably be back with the others. Anything that they had, and so I mean, anything's possible. She could survive for sure, but
I have a theory on that. It's very out there at the moment. She's been
disfigured and living out in the woods. They leave her for dead, and she's I could see that too.
And this is who's coming back after them, and we're gonna fucking see a redhead with a scar across her cheek at the end of this season.
That would be cool. What was he saying? Oh yeah, so sorry. Jackie. No, it's okay. That anyway, I don't think we have any definite proof that Jackie died while she was out there. So she could have come home and passed away, by suicide or some other means, and continued her diary. But I don't know. I mean, that it does seem like a weird not a weird, but just a sloppy mistake, you know? I mean, I guess they might assume people are just, you know, it's being flipped through really quickly and nobody would notice and they're all 90s stuff, but I doubt it. Like you said, I think they're meticulous enough about it that, yeah, it wouldn't just be a blanket of 90s movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's I mean, it's definitely not the same diary that Shauna has when she's there. The diary that she picks up in Jackie's room is like pink and has flowers on it, and the one that she has while they're in the woods is like a brown, like leather or something.
It's not the same though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make another wild prediction.
Okay.
That's based in not much, because I'm just throwing them out randomly tonight because my brain's just going crazy with them, I guess. People seem to like predictions. I think it's possible that the girl who dies in the pit in the very opening is Lottie. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because they want to consume her to try to gain her power, her wisdom, her ability to see. Like she's a threat and maybe we can all, you know, get some of that out of her. That is complete bullshit. I am probably way off on that.
I don't know.
I'm throwing that one out there for no reason.
Well, we don't have like any more information about the person that dies in that pit other than that they have long dark hair, and Lottie has long dark hair, so it definitely could be her.
It's probably her, but
maybe
Jesus not that reason.
Lady,
body of Christ, right?
Yeah, I could definitely see her kind of changing her tomb of like it not being visions from God and a gift from God, but like actually it's the devil, and so we got to kill her and for some reason eat her.
I'm still sticking to my eclipse theory.
Yeah, I really like that theory.
Yeah,
I'm good with that one.
Anyway. So yeah, well, when will Jackie confront Shauna?
Probably pretty soon.
Yeah, I would say the next episode. There's only 2 episodes. Or 3. No, we got 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
So maybe not the next episode.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it'll be put. If there's a flashback, I feel like unless it's the only flashbacks we get are with Thaisa and that group, and none of like everybody else back at the cabin. I think for sure we'll see the confrontation, because what else? I mean, like there's no reason not to confront her.
Unless the reason that she doesn't confront her is because when she goes to confront her, all of them show back up and start screaming that Thaisa murdered one of us.
Yeah.
And then it's going to make her go, well, this isn't really important at the moment, right? She's not going to think about it much in that moment, and then they'll get to it later.
Yeah.
So I could see that being, sidelined because they all show back up screaming.
Sure, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Probably not. She'll probably fucking confront her in the next episode. Thaisa is somehow okay with Natalie drinking in the car after just talking about how she paid for her rehab. They're all just a mess.
Yeah,
they're all just a mess.
She just feels bad for her and is like, they have her and Shauna have the conversation about like we have our families, and Natalie only had Travis, and now she doesn't even have him, so she's got less. So I think it's kind of just like, well, she's got drinking. I guess I'll let her drink.
Yeah. Well, she also had Kevin, but not no more.
No.
Speaking of Travis and Natalie, we witnessed some of the most awkward, awful sex known to man, if it was even sex. We can't really figure out what happened here. So she starts blowing him, and he is gonna come, maybe, but he's like, no, I think we should have sex.
Yeah. So
then he flips her over, tries to put the condom on. He can't because he's a teenage boy who's never done it before, and that shit's confusing the first time. And so he tries to put it on. Of course, she's trying to help him, but I think what's going on here is that, like, she's trying to help him. He denies that help. And then she tries to say something to him that's sexy in the moment, but it's really just her feelings because she's horny and she wants him. Mm-hmm. But he takes both of those as she's experienced and he's not experienced. And he feels, like either she's a slut because that's what he was worrying about before. Although we did talk about how he was just worried that... Well, I guess this kind of lines up with what you were saying. that he's like, he wanted, you know, it to be her first time because he's like insecure about it being his first time, and he doesn't want to have to stack up to these people and everything. And I think that's just what's going on here. He's just being like, you know, you don't have to say that to me. All she says to him is like, I want you so bad right now. Like, dude.
I think it's more of his insecurities. I think that he, you know, everything with the condom and then her saying that to him, I think that he might even lose his heart on. And
that's what I think
can't,
happened
like,
there.
get it in.
Yeah.
And then is just very embarrassed about it, and she, you know, tries to be like, it's okay, but he's obviously, I mean, that's, you know, for your first time and, like, in that situation, he's embarrassed about it. And
sure.
He shouldn't be. I mean, she's not making him feel bad, but he's making himself feel bad. So that's, I think, what ends up happening. And it is very awkward and hard to watch because she's so cute and definitely into him and doesn't come across as being, like, you know, super slutty or anything, like, or, you know, just not the way that he seems to be picturing her in his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's intimidated, you know, by the two other guys that she slept with.
I also
3 or whatever it was.
2, yeah.
It was like 2, yeah.
I mean, it's always easy to be on the outside of the screen looking in on real life because most of us had really awkward sex the first time, and we would be made fun of or shit on for how we reacted or, you know, whatever. I definitely remember mine. It was not the best, to say the least, as most people's aren't. And, you know, I see that I just don't like Travis, and I think I'm, like, biased against it. So, like, in the moment, I'm just sitting there like, oh, God, this guy, what a little pussy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know, he's either, he either lost his heart on, or he, you know, he doesn't realize that a girl has to be wet for you to be able to go in. And he was trying to push it in, and he couldn't figure it out, which then made him frustrated, which made him lose his heart on, which is probably what happened. He's like, I don't understand. Why is it not going in? Hey, buddy, you might want to learn female anatomy first. But yeah, I don't know. Whichever it is, I don't like him. I haven't liked him.
I don't really like him either, but I think that he's, like, just kind of a typical teen boy. Like, I don't think he's a bad person at all, and obviously Natalie really cares about him, so I think that their relationship, you know, deepens as time goes on. So, but I think that he's just kind of like an average guy in this situation.
Yes.
And as much as, like, you know, he shouldn't, it's like you said, though, like, people always will look back on things that they did when they were, like, teens or whatever, and, like, the way that they reacted to sexual situations and be like, what the fuck was I thinking with that? And, like, you know, it's a learning experience. And it's, in real life, you know, I think I would like to believe that everybody would be, like, you know, compassionate about that with others, but it doesn't always happen. So, but in this situation, in this show, like, he definitely should feel, you know, a little bit more willing to open up with Natalie, but they're both fucked up and they both have trust issues, so that's kind of it. Yeah.
I definitely couldn't imagine an actual, like, you know, unfiltered, real, like, shot of, you know, certain sexual instances in my life. It would make almost anybody would have any part of their life put on screen exactly how it went down, make them look terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it would just be like, wow, good one, guy. So, I mean, I'm probably being a little too hard on the guy, but I just don't like him. And that's just all there is to it. I haven't liked him from episode 1. There's something about him, I'm just not a fan of him. Anyways, moving on from that. So, now we got the whole, you know, reporter and Misty thing going on here, which Misty is yet again
fucking
just
psychotic.
showing off how genuinely psychotic she really is. So
yeah, she's like, I'm gonna take these chocolates and inject them with drugs and send them to your dad in a nursing home in Florida. Like, which is really, it's cool because, like, whenever, you know, the reporter's like, I have leverage, like, that's what we call it in the business, and Misty's all like, well, you don't have leverage because I'm willing to get the information out of you. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, is she gonna start like hacking her up or like hurting her physically, and no, she does like the psychological manipulation of like, I'm gonna kill somebody that you love.
That's
which
what Misty knows
fits,
how to.
yeah, much more in line, obviously, with Misty's personality. She's not like, I'm gonna physically overpower you. She's like, I'm gonna play it smart, and that's terrifying for sure. So yeah, it's crazy. But you know, the reporter reveals to her. One that Thaisa supposedly hired her to look into everybody to make sure that they weren't going to spill any secrets that would impact her election.
Yep.
Which I believe. I think that's probably true.
Yes.
And then she says, you know, that she does believe that Travis was murdered because his bank account was immediately closed the day after he died, and she had tried to talk to him, and he wouldn't open up to her.
Yes.
So.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true. Now she knows more.
Yes.
But what she said is true. Now, who's closing out his account? Mm-hmm. Who needs money?
Mm-hmm. Shauna's husband, or some other umbrella organization that he's working in tandem
Resident
with.
Evil. I'm not connecting Jeff to Travis at the moment.
No.
But it's possible. I mean, It's money.
Yeah.
And if he's doing this for the money, I mean, if he's blackmailing these other survivors out of their money, then why not this one? I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I mean, the candle stuff and all of that, I don't know. Maybe Travis put those candles up, but he's not the believer, so I don't see why it would be him. But, you know, who is the believers? We don't know. I mean, there's definitely people that could change throughout the show and become believers that aren't believers now, so I have no fucking clue. But he's the only one that I'm suspicious of needing money at the moment, and his guy's bank account was drained. Mm-hmm. So maybe. So, moving on from that. Okay, they are out there and they see one of Lottie's predictions come true, the River of Blood. As Misty points out, it could be iron deposits coming into the water, affecting the color of the water, which is true. But of course, they want to see what they want to see. Lottie's predictions, which they say in the episode that Lottie predicted a couple things that happened in school before, so this is nothing new to her. But Thaisa is the me of the show in the sense that she's come on, there's a rational explanation for everything. Stop being fucking stupid.
Before everything happened with Thaisa and the whole tree and the wolves and everything, I definitely thought that they were going to walk in a loop and get turned around and, you know, end up back at the camp, and especially when they, brought up the compass thing freaking out, and then also that they brought up what Lottie said about the man in the airplane, which was like they didn't want him to leave. Mm-hmm. But now I don't know, because I think that, you know, with what happened, that I think that they probably will end up going back to camp of their own volition and not accidentally. You know, I don't see them trying to push forward.
Absolutely.
So
100% no chance.
Yeah, and I mean, it is like, I get being skeptical in that situation, because it's like, okay, we're like in a very stressful environment right now where survival's our only, you know, kind of main goal that we have. Like, why should we resort to superstition? But it is a weird coincidence that she has this dream about a river of blood and then they come to this. But it is, of course, you know, you could say they're just filling in, like you said, what they want to see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would definitely be one of the more superstitious people, I think, in this situation, because it's hard, when you lose your sense of society and that foundation of logic and everything makes sense. I go to the grocery store to get my food and you know, everything's just kind of laid out for you and you're just in the fucking woods trying to live. I think that it is really very likely that your mind is going to start wanting to fill those things in with the unknown, right? What you don't, those threats that are out there. And not everybody would be like that. And I'm not saying I'd hope I wouldn't go insane with it or anything. I just think that I would be more susceptible to it. You know, so I sympathize and empathize with the, you know, the girls that are believers and that are having these, what the fuck, we just did this seance and you know, all this weird shit's happening. So
hopefully I don't empathize too much.
Well, not to the like point of cannibalism or anything, but
hope not. No comment. Moving on. So I guess another little thing that we need to address here, I shouldn't say little, I should say big, is, okay, so where do we go from here with the Thaisa, Van potentially dead situation? Because now we know that Misty was there, right? And Misty is still alive, as is Thaisa, and Thaisa isn't being exposed. Like, they're not staying away from her, like, hey, you're a fucking murderer. Two things. I think, number one, if it was a dream and she was going to attack her, I think she's going to tell them what she saw in her dream as being true, so that they'll be like, oh my God, a wolf attacked her. And she's like, yeah, I hit it and it must have ran off. Right? She's going to have to come up with something outside of, I just took an axe to Van's face. That's not going to work. They're not going to be like, oh, okay. Let's just go back to whatever we're doing.
Sure.
No, there's going to have to be something that makes them go, oh, Thais is not fucking crazy. Or like, maybe she is, but we got to give her the benefit of the doubt, right? I do think, though, that what is happening here probably is that the woods, much like in the Blair Witch lore, that the Blair Witch is not really the antagonist of the Blair Witch franchise. It's the woods themselves that are cursed. Like, it's the Burkittsville woods that are taking possession of Ellie Kedward, are taking possession of Tristan, are taking possession of Mike, of whoever. So I think it's something like that, where the woods are tainted in some way, and they are having a negative effect on people who already kind of have certain predispositions. It's playing on their weaknesses. I think that, we already see that Thaisa had, sleepwalking. She has visions that she got from her grandmother, seeing this man with no eyes. So she's already kind of hallucinogenic in ways. She's already, susceptible to those kinds of things. And so it's taking advantage of those things, because when she's caught eating dirt, she looks possessed. Her eyes looked fucking like milky from my memory of it. Like, she's, not in control of her body. I could be wrong on the eyes, but I that's how I remember it. I could be fucking totally making that up, but I'd have to look back on it. That being said, Lottie has this ability to predict things, right? Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but this is actually giving her that ability that she was supposed to be having. There's other things going on there as well, and we don't even know if the baby really is real or if it is Jeff's. It could be the fucking, she is pregnant with, the entity of the woods baby or something, or not even a baby.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also, she could just be missing her period because of, like, what
Stress.
happened. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I mean, I agree with you. I think the woods themselves are what's, the real cause of everything in the show. And I don't know, I keep thinking about the mushrooms and everything too, because I feel like, with her eating the dirt, like, she could have been eating mushrooms in that, just chomping on it. And if you get hungry enough, like, you'll eat anything, right? And like, even if it is like a hallucinogenic mushroom, which they, they already kind of bring up, like, don't eat those, they're poisonous or whatever. So I could definitely see it being an effect of something like that, where there's something that they're trying to eat to survive, while they don't have meat, is, giving them side effects. But as far as like with Thaisa and everything, I can also see that experience like weakening her, reasoning and logic. I could see her kind of folding and thinking like, yeah, maybe something is going on, because like I wouldn't have done that normally, and kind of going along that route with it. And I also can see something else really major happening back at the cabin that would kind of coincide with what happens this same night. Like another sort of crazy incident. What that could be, I don't know, but just something else that's outlandish and unusual.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's it for tonight on Yellowjackets, episode 7, No Compass. What do you think about the 300 predictions that were thrown out tonight? Are we on into anything here? Or have you already stopped watching, unsubscribed? That's fine. That's fine. I'm sticking to my guns on the Jeff thing.
All right.
And the other stuff I said is just kind of spitballed. But
they're all good. I think they're all good predictions.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll see about the eclipse one. If you want my thoughts on that, look to a previous episode. I'm not going to get back into it here, but we'll see. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.